Let's look at how we get bogged down with stress. I'm going to use a metaphor inspired by a TV programme from my childhood, Cracker Jack. Now firstly, let's meet my little daughter Rosie. Isn't she cute? We're going to give Rosie a bunch of toys, and she's happy about that. But these toys represent something to us. They're the positive demands in life. You know, the stuff that takes effort, motivation and energy, but we associate them positively. And that's an important thing to remember. The good stuff, because it takes energy and effort, can add to the cumulative impact of the demands in our life. And we'll see how that plays out now. So what positives do you have in your life? Here's some examples, and we'll give the cuddly toys and the toys to Rosie. Holiday, family time, a night out with friends, some me time. Now look, Rosie's happy, isn't she? We do, however, need to consider the negative demands, don't we? And that's typically the stuff we would say stress us out or overwhelm us, or we have to do in order to get some of the other positives. I'm sure you can think of one or two, can't you? These negative demands are represented by the cabbages. And here's some examples. Workload, feeling out of control, a bullying relationship, those essays that are leading to that qualification, email, change and uncertainty, not enough time, feeling tired. Rosie doesn't appear so pleased about this now, does she? There is, however, one more cabbage, and it's the smelliest cabbage of them all, or as I lovingly call it, the smelly cabbage of self-sabotage. It's that inner voice that always seems to criticise you, find fault, add in a good dollop of guilt, and remind you of who are you to think you could, or point out why bother it always goes wrong for you. Yep, that's the voice of self-cabotage, and it can be crippling. We have enough to cope with, don't we, in terms of managing and juggling the cabbages. And what do we do at a time like that? Well, we often allow that voice of self-cabotage to get louder and to start to convince you how much worse things are, how never-ending they seem to be, and how rubbish you are at coping, and in fact how it's all your fault anyway. It's ironic, isn't it, that when we most need a positive inner voice, we find that negative voice kicks in and makes coping so much harder. Add that to the pile and it's going to turn the rest of the cabbages rotten, isn't it? In other words, we cope less well, and our coping ability deteriorates quite dramatically. And now, as we can see, Rosie is overloaded. Have you experienced that? Can you relate? The questions that are worth reflecting on, and we'll do so in the session, are: how sustainable is this for you? If this were you carrying all those cabbages around, where is your focus likely to be? Is it calm and composed, or overwhelmed and irritable? And the killer question: what has happened to the toys? They've been crushed. You can't see them. And this, friends, is where it gets tricky, because the toys, those positive demands, turn out not to be a luxury after all. They are, in fact, essential to your well-being over the long term. Taking time for social connection, me time, exercise, chill time, all those things are essential for your longer-term ability to cope. So, back to the main session and we'll discuss your observations. Thanks, Rosie. We'll see you later in the session.